So this was a two-part crime drama, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. Police
Yeah.
procedural. It starred Keeley Hawes as, I believe her name was Caroline Good, who was, yes, a DCI. Her first investigation was into the disappearance of a young Kurdish girl called Bernaz Mahmoud, and this was set in 2006, where it increasingly became apparent that she had been killed, and her death was an honour killing by members of her own family. This followed Caroline and her team's attempt to bring the perpetrators, namely Benazzi's father and uncle, to justice. It was very much a procedural drama. I think they showed you the way that they uncovered the case. I suppose you spent a lot of time with the analyst, a lot of time with the translator, things like that. It was a bit like Manhunt, I think, in the way that they showed you the sort of the
Yeah.
painstaking work that the police do and again another sort of real life case, and then it went in the second half. You got the trial of the father and the uncle. I mean, there's not much to say about the plot here, but what were your overall thoughts on this?
So whenever they try and do these kind of like true life things, you do feel a little bit disconnected, because obviously there is a real tragedy that has happened. I mean, I thought this was incredibly fast. There was no need for a backstory. There was no need for a lot of exposition. You were straight in. It's Keeley Hawes' first day, first case as a DCI. She's only got a very small team that you see. I think there's a massive operation that's going on, but really she's got, well, I think two detectives, a liaison, and an analyst. I think it would be fair to say. The analyst was played very well by the girl out of Dead Pixels.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, she was
who I,
in Detectorists as well.
oh, I haven't seen a lot of
Toby
that, but yeah,
Jones's daughter.
she was really good. And the only real kind of relationship you got was the relationship between her and Keeley Hawes. It was almost like this kind of mother or older sister type relationship, where she was looking out for her, because the analyst was sleeping in the office and
Mm,
working every hour, because they felt so connected
yeah.
emotionally to the case. There was nothing groundbreaking, but actually, what it did pretty well. I thought Keeley Hawes was believable. Um, the rest of the cast were good. I have no idea about the actual subject matter about the honour killings. I actually didn't really know an awful lot about this, and I learned most of it through the show.
Mm.
And I would wonder how the Kurdish community would feel about this being on television. I don't know how true to life. I know it's a real story, but I don't know how true to life some of the things that were said are. So that would be interesting.
What?
But I liked it, and I
Yeah.
quite liked it being over 2 nights. I know
Mm.
sometimes we accuse television companies of stringing things out. I think this was quite good to put on a. Was it Monday and Tuesday?
Monday and Tuesday, yeah.
And I thought there were some good performances, and it was believable.
Mm.
Which I know, because it's a true story. That's kind of what you think. But
Yeah,
I
and
did think it was a believable story.
yeah, and Caroline Good was a advisor on this as well. I saw it over the
Oh,
end
what the
credits. So
real?
yeah,
So
yeah,
they used her real name.
yeah.
This felt like, so you mentioned Manhunt, and
Mm.
obviously that was the one with Martin Clunes, wasn't it? And it
Yeah.
did feel very similar. And obviously, I think that's got a very similar thing, is that Martin Clunes was the real big name in it, like
Yeah.
Keeley Hawes was in this one. And then his character, his real life counterpart, was involved in the show. So I
Mm.
wonder if there's like a, not a theme, but I wonder if ITV have kind of used that as a template now,
Mm.
thinking, let's go for some more real life cases.
And I suppose some cases that people might not be as familiar with. I think as well. I mean, I don't know if you watched this, but the Salisbury poisonings did something very similar as well, where the
Right.
focus was on Amory Duff's character, who was the like the I can't remember what her title was now, but like the diseases expert. She worked very
Yeah.
much environmental health. That's what I meant to say. And
Uh,
she worked very much, on low level cases, and then suddenly there was this, poisoning case that she had to be front and center of and doing the press conferences, and I think her character in that was very similar here to Keeley Hall's character, even though obviously both real life people. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Again, I think that they did a good balance of showing the good the police do, obviously, as well. Though there was that element of it where the police had let this girl down. She tried to come to them several
Yeah.
times, Bernard had, and they let her down every time. And that is realistic to this. And you're saying to me you don't know a lot about honor-based violence. There was a very good drama, which I believe is still on the iPlayer, called Murder by My Father,
Oh yes, I do remember that
with
before.
Adi Al-Akhtar
Yeah.
as the father, and that was all about honour-based violence, and that was very much drama documentary, which this was to an extent. And I was thinking, were computers really that big in 2006, and were we still on them little Nokia mobile phones? And
I did, yeah. I mean, I think they could have done, if there were any criticisms. There were two criticisms. One
okay,
is that, yeah, you didn't really date it very well. You could have had some 2006 references in there to kind of really put you in the right frame of mind. And I think the other thing was, I liked the fact that for a lot of the show we saw the investigation play out in real time. But then I didn't need to see, like, the guy when he was in prison talking on the phone. I didn't need to see that to then understand why they were transcribing it. If you know what I mean, like, the audience wasn't supposed to see that bit.
Well, no, I think I didn't have an issue
Oh,
with that. I didn't have an issue with that. It sort of made it sort of made sense in the, they were showing you like a bit of a montage of it was going
yeah,
from him being on the phone to this guy transcribing it. I get it. Maybe they did it one too many times, but I think for me I didn't have much of an issue with that. What did you think to Keeley Hawes' performance here? I mean, I do really like her as an actor, but I felt she was like putting on a bit of an accent here.
yeah, maybe. I didn't really pick up too much on that. I mean, the thing is that she's done crime drama now. And so you've seen her as a police officer or, whatever else. But yeah, no, I thought she was believable. I mean, I think she was the only recognisable name in the piece.
Yeah.
I think that's what I was trying. So I think, yeah, they hinged a lot on her acting and her name ability to sell the show.
And as you said, I really liked Alexa Davis from Dead Pixels as Keeley, the analyst who was, getting all these messages off various phone signals and stressing herself out to the point that she was breaking down in the toilets. So, the importance of
Yeah,
these little characters and the translator who was listening, as you said, to
yeah, it
these phone
was
calls in
good.
prison, and he had that little line about all these. So he was representing, and then there was that lady who was the community leader,
Yeah,
representing almost positives of the Kurdish community, and he was saying things like, why do you think I left to come here? Because of this
yeah,
old-fashioned belief in honor. And actually, I thought the story with the sister as well was very well done. She had left the family home, jumped out of the window because she knew that could have been her fate as well. And as we learned at the end, she's gone into witness protection. And yeah, it was just a very strong procedural drama that had, I think, an emotional core to it due to the fact that this was a young girl who had been murdered by her own family, in some outdated belief in a way. Yeah. So I think most people really enjoyed this by looking on Twitter, and if you want to catch up with it, it is on the ITV hub.